Hello, friends. As mentioned to you in my note yesterday, today's topic is about decision making. What is decision making and how can we address it? Decision making is actually a very simple process. It's the process of making a choice. And by and large, we tend to think that it should not be a very difficult process. But while there are some easy decisions, there are also tough ones. And these tough ones especially come within the organizational context. So we are going to look at those. We struggle with decisions right from the time we wake up in the morning, okay, whether to snooze the alarm or not, to what we are going to wear and what we are going to eat, and so on and so on. And some of these decisions, although they seem triflingly simple, they're actually pretty tough ones to make. And at work, especially, we are constantly encountered with situations that require decision to be made. And those decisions take up a substantial amount of our time. And depending on your profile, your position within your organization, you could spend as much as maybe 40 to 50% of your time on decision making. So it's not an easy task, so to say. Okay. And actually, I have gone through it myself, and I know a lot of other leaders I speak to who very often feel that the time they spend on decision making is wasted. It's not giving them any fruitful this thing, and they think it's poorly utilized for sure, if not wasted. And this process of decision making and the number of decisions they have to make actually tires them. It exhausts them. And this is what we call decision fatigue. And what happens when you have decision fatigue? Then you tend to take decisions that are ineffective, that are not the best. And this leads to the bad decisions, the ineffective decisions lead to a substantial loss of various things within the organization, right from manpower time, manpower, man hours, right up to financial losses. And therefore, it is very critical. And a lot of agile and conscious organizations have noticed this, and they have taken a conscious decision to put decision making in the hands of the right people. Generally, these people are people who can think rationally very fast and decisively, and also if they have the capability and if they have trained themselves to anticipate the changes that are going to happen within your business environment, those kind of people are the best to make decisions. And if a person is working in an organization, some of the typical traits of an organization that will let him be a great decision maker is he is more empowered to take the decision without the loss of failure, without the loss of losing face in the face of failure, and also fewer layers of management. The more layers of management, the more delayed and the more troublesome it is to take a decision of any kind. In the current scenario, we have tons of data. And more often than not, this data should make our life easier when it comes to taking a decision. But that's not really true. Very often it becomes very, very difficult to take a decision. And this is becoming a problem. And not only is it difficult to take a decision, there are conflicting data which might require you to take more than one decision to reach at that one decision. Okay, so it's not that easy with all the data that you have. And this leads to frustration. Anybody, you, I, everybody will get frustrated when that data is so complex and complicated that a straightforward decision goes through millions other decisions just to reach for this thing. And when such situations are faced, the leaders naturally cannot take the decision on time. And the untimely decision making, the vague decision making, the not so confident decision making, leads to delegating responsibilities as a part of the decision, delayed or partially not 100% correct. And this delegation challenge naturally leads to loss of productivity because the work is not starting and it's not going to be done at the best pace. So the solution that I feel is best for taking decisions is to divide them into different categories. And I am just talking of three big categories that I could think of. One is the big bet decisions, whether your company should expand or not, whether it should diversify or not. Now, such decisions are big time decisions. They are big bet decisions, and they are taken generally by the CXOs or the board of directors of the company. They're very important decisions and they're very high risk decisions because they can affect the entire future of your organization. Now, generally for such a thing, and this is something I practiced at a couple of companies that I have consulted with, is that we know there are 10 of us who are going to, and there are 4 of us who are for it and 6 of us may be against it. I'm just throwing numbers. What we do is that during the meeting, after discussions, we appoint one person from the for and one person from the against, who will summarize after talking to the other people who are for or against the decision and present it as just one person with the others listening and noting down any discrepancies or any fallacies they might find. I have found that this way is the fastest way and the best way when taking these big bet decisions that one always has to take if the company has to grow. The second category is the cross-functional, cross-cutting relationship. Okay, these are like, say, pricing. Pricing can't be decided by anyone. There's the production that comes into picture. There's the product development that comes into picture. There's the marketing that comes into picture. So these are cross-functional, cross-team decisions. Now, these decisions are fairly frequent. They are not infrequent like the big bet decisions. They are fairly frequent, but they also carry a substantial amount of risk. Okay, these decisions are generally best left to the business unit heads to sit down and break their heads over. It is not always that the CXOs or the board needs to get into detail at that level. And you need to set up a process for taking such decisions. Because it is cross-functional and multi-department or multi-teams, you need to make sure that there is ample clarity on what that decision-making entails and the consequences that it is going to generally generate. Are the objectives set clear? Are the measures set clear? These are important things. Is that decision going to live up to the values of the company? Is it going to be able to achieve the targets of the organization? So these are what we call cross-cutting decisions, and you need to be very careful about those two. And the third are routine decisions, which we will call delegating decisions. These are things that have been delegated to others, and it is up to them to decide. These are things like, okay, who's going to get what job within the department? Okay, these are generally done by team leaders who are closest to the task of hand and know each individual's strengths and weaknesses very well. So these are the general 3 types of decisions. And as you can see, they're going to be taken by different people, and you will follow different processes for taking those decisions. Now, there are some things that you need to remember all the time when taking a decision, is to focus, seriously focus on the big bet decisions. They are game-changing, and those decisions help create value, and they serve a sense of purpose for the entire organization. You need to focus very much on such things. At all times, try to avoid just calling meeting after meeting. Convene a meeting when it is absolutely necessary. And before the meeting, make sure that you circulate a sheet of paper. It can't be a big Bible. A sheet of paper which says what is the aim, purpose of the meeting, what you intend to discuss, and what is the goal, what is the target of the meeting. And clarify and ensure that everybody's role is very well specified. There should be no ambiguity in the role of the responsible person. And during this entire decision-making process, it is absolutely important, and this is the final statement, it is absolutely important that it is clearly marked as who is the decision maker and that he is in the front of the entire process. If you do this, decision-making is going to be much better, much easier, and much more effective. I hope this has helped. See you day after tomorrow. I hope this has been just 15 minutes. Let us see and have a great day. Thank you. Bye-bye.